pump manufacturer said they want 3-inch supply to the pump. So Leg Arms has been making quite a contraption here.
To go up and over the axle.
I'm sure none of those welds will leak. That's why we painted it black. And it's under the tractor, so you guys won't see it because it'll just drip on the ground.
I am so scared about leaks everywhere.
The only leaks we're worried about is like that there, anywhere it's got white paint on it. Underneath here, who cares? Go back to the earth where it came from, right? I'm sure environmentalists love to hear that.
Oh yeah, that's the way it goes.
Do you need a hand with that?
Nope, that should be good.
Are you sure? You're kind of sweating.
Dude, I sweat because I'm fat.
That is not true.
It is so true. It is a real thing, Nick.
The reason it was so challenging is he had to get that to go up and over the axle to the pumps because the pumps are so low in that transmission power takeoff that it's just kind of tricky. And rather than trying to flex a 3-inch hose all the way up there for a suction on a pump, you really don't want that. Way better off having just iron, so that's what he's doing. All right, I got sidetracked the other day. I know I mentioned, hey, let's do this covers for the dash. Well, we changed our mind again, and now we're going with this color because it closer matches the steering wheel, and I got a new knob coming at it. So that is what's going to go on top of all the gauge cluster panels. And over here, I think this is probably still a little tacky. I painted it again, but that handle I worked up. Oh, actually, that's not bad. I can put that on now. Cool. Let's take that. Put that on the exhaust and button that up. That'll work nice. Having second thoughts on this stuff. I don't know. It's just, it doesn't want to stick to this metal very well. I even tried taping it on at one point, but I used the heat gun lightly and tried to suck it tight, and there's just wrinkles, and it just keeps lifting up. It just isn't holding tight like it should. So we might try. I got a couple different brands coming that are a little higher quality, I think, than this stuff. So maybe I'll redo it. We'll see. So to be determined. We'll figure something out. All right, let's do something different. I'm thinking lights. So this tractor originally had 3 lights in the front. 1 in the center, 2 in the sides right up top here. And then on the back, they have the typical Bud Series 2 style, Series 1, where there's 4 on the back of the cab. So we're gonna keep that same light setup. In the future, we could add more, but just for the sake of being more, I don't know, original. The only thing is the lights are gonna be significantly brighter. And that's where we're bringing in some Thomases. We've been running these on a few of our tractors and combines, and I've yet to have one fail, and they are just crazy bright. They're not the cheapest light, but they are a very, very effective light. So I'll put some of these in. So we're doing, I think, a 40 degree in the front spot kind of set up, so that way you get your distance. And then the 2 sides will be 60 degree for flood. And in the back of the tractor, I think I have just 60s across the whole thing. I gotta look to see for sure, but I already put some brackets up there. Let's bolt these up. All right, this one's the 40. Oh, I dropped the nut. I am so good at that. That was a good idea doing that angle, or that square tubing with a hole drilled through it. Or was it a good idea? Maybe I'll tighten this thing up. The trick is take the light off the bracket first, and tighten the bottom up, and then put the light back on. That's how you do it. There we go. All right, one down. All right, just got to button up some harnesses here, but overall, yeah, I think it's fitting. Nice black housings. I think I got to turn those ones down a little bit, point it out a little high still, but that'll work. All right, that's what the back looks like. So a 60, 40 degree, 40 degree, and a 60. So with the toe between carts, they keep the flood on the outside, but I don't know, maybe I'll flip them someday. But for now, looks good. We're still trying to decide whether we want to put amber lights on the cab like the other Buds have. They didn't put them on these from the factory. That was later, the newer style cab, but we might do it. So we still have time. I don't know. We'll see if we get to that.
So we can do.
It's going to be the same distance whether you put it on top or bottom, but
I think I'll probably put this one on top.
You're right, there's fine.
Okay, here's your fitting.
Well, we are pumping oil in the engine. And we're not going to start it. Sorry, guys. I'm getting excited. We're getting filled up some fluids. We're just going to check for leaks. Obviously, not under pressure. So we'll top the engine oil off. Then we're going to fill the Allison up with oil. And then we sealed the covers. We vacuumed the inside out again. I got magnets, neodymium magnets scattered all over on the return side and a couple on the power side or suction side. I just done as good as we can for that tank. So I think we're ready to put some oil in that and see if it leaks. And that's the one that's probably going to leak if it does. But if it does, we'll have to either drain it out and fix the leaks or, I don't know, something on it. So we'll get there. I don't see any leaks yet. It's probably going to take a while, but I hope there's no leaks. We'll find out soon how much hydraulic oil this thing holds. Put one barrel in, we'll know at least 50, 55 gallons, and then we'll see how far the second one gets. But goal is to probably get it, well, I got a sight glass I put right there. So once we see oil there, we'll see how much is left in that other barrel, and we'll know how much oil this thing holds. Another piece of the puzzle is the hood. Without tie downs, it's just gonna flop and bang on here. So we found these. These are nice cam over latches. So I'm gonna self-tap into the square tubing so I'll have to put bolts all the way through. Got some big old self-tapping screws. That should be plenty to hold that on. Might do the same up here or put a bolt through if the self-tappers break. I'm gonna just drill it out and put a bolt through it. So I guess we can try it either way. So this will go like so, and then one on the other side, and then you can latch down that hood. And there's probably a couple other places we might be putting these, but for sure, those two areas.
It's about that time. Let's put load and clutch on. And then, whoa, that's slippery. Just about ate it.
I just said we should probably put the sticky pads on there.
You should probably put those sticky pads on there, Nick.
I'll wait a week.
This thing is really not too bad for weight-wise. But it's stout.
It's okay, we want more iron. All iron we can get on the tractor.
Okay, you want the breather on the top, which is right here. Okay. Something like that.
Did you make sure it spins the right direction?
Yep, we're good.
Okay. All right, barrel number 1 is down. Let's switch to barrel number 2. I just checked the light, and I think we're somewhere right in this area, so we're not far from the sight glass. So I'm gonna baby this, keep watching it. Open the battery cover up here just to watch, because all these seams here technically are potential leak points. Obviously, it's gonna take some time for that oil to squeeze through the very, very, very tiny holes that might exist if there are any. Looks like my plugs are holding. Don't see anything dripping yet there either. So it's not gonna take both barrels. I was thinking it might, but I think we're gonna be somewhere around, was that 55 gallons for a barrel? It took one, so we're at least 55 in. We'll see if we use a third of another barrel. So we could be in that 70, 80 gallon range maybe. Maybe not quite that much, 75, we'll see. We'll see where we get. I'll get it up top up here. So actually we decided we're just gonna fill it up plumb full. Reason is, one, there's a lot of cavities in this thing that needs filled with oil. Like all the big lines run to the pumps, the valve body, the hydraulic cylinders, they're gonna turn when this thing gets fired up. So it's gonna suck a bunch of this out of here. So, second reason is also we have welds that we still haven't tested that are up high. So I'm just gonna fill it up to the top, plug it, and then if we need to drain some out when it comes time after running it, we will. But it'd be a good test to get her nice and full. Didn't get it plumb full. There's probably 2 inches maybe, something like that right there. Had a little more oil to put in it, but I ran the numbers. Barrel's empty. Second barrel, 10 inches from the bottom. And that's roughly a little over 15 gallons of oil. So those are 55 each, so it's 110 minus 15. So what are we sitting at, 95 gallons in there. And I think you could put another 15 gallons in there if you really filled it full, plus all the capacity, the rest of the tractor that's gonna be filled up. So I would say this tractor can hold a good 100 gallons of hydraulic oil, which is, I think, quite a bit to today's standards. That's on the upper end. So anyways, that's good. So let's wait on the front of the tractor. And so far, nothing's dripping. I'll check back in a little bit and let you guys know if it's still that case, but right now we're looking good. Oh, that's nice. Sweet. Tight. Been meaning to do this for a little while now. Finally got it done, but put a shield on that cylinder there so that way, for some reason, it happened to lose pressure and cab started to fall. It would catch and hit here and stop it. So you just have a pin here, pull out. I made it so it's actually tight on this, so you gotta pull it off. But that way, a little extra safety. For now, at least, this will get us by while we're working around it. And then if for some reason down the road we do put in another stand and figure out a way to do it, then that's good, but I like that. Let's drop it on and test it. And done. Perfect. All right. All the weight is on that guy right there. Perfect. Well, so far, nothing's dripping. Yeah, looks pretty good. I don't see any drops. We'll find out in the morning, but it's time for coolant. I just finished putting the heater core valves on. Took the one on the top there, put it in the back of cylinder number 6, right on the very back there. That's nice and short distance to the cab. And then we have a return down there. So now that's all done. I think all the coolant lines are ready. So I guess I'll just start pumping this in there. We'll see what happens.
All right, next thing. That Logan clutch, I need to do something behind the Logan clutch to finish out the PTO. And a fan of ours happened to reach out to us and said, hey, you might want to do this. And he sent me this. This is called a Lovejoy. It creates, or it doesn't create, it dampens any chatter along the line. So if you're creating chatter somewhere from the engine or wherever it might be, that will take a little bit of the shock and stop the chattering, and it'll save your universal joints and all your splines and other pieces. And he said, I highly recommend you put it on. So he sent me this, and I was like, oh, sweet. I think I might try it. Worst case scenario, if it doesn't work out, take it out and bolt it directly together and we'll be good. But that means I need to do some machining. So I have the output shaft on the Logan clutch over by the lathe, and I got a couple pieces of steel that I need to lathe down, machine, and get it to fit this Lovejoy. Because this isn't necessarily an easy piece to just install. At least for me, it doesn't look that way. So basically what I got going on here is, here's a big old piece of steel. I think it's like 8 inches in diameter. Yep, a little bit shy of 8 inches. And then here's a 9-inch chunk of steel right there. And this goes on the back of the Logan clutch, so you can bolt up your universal joint and so forth. But what I need to do is I need to take this piece and stick it here so that this thing can attach here to stop the chatter. So this is what I got planned. I think I'm going to do. I'll take this big solid piece, machine it to bolt onto here. I'll put threads on this so that you can bolt it on here. Cut that out so that this will slide over it inside, and then you'll put bolts through. And then you got this plate here that'll bolt to this, and then this will bolt to that. Yeah. Just know I'll get it figured out. Let's machine this down and get it figured out how I think I need to put it together. because it's kind of a Mickey Mouse contraption. All right. So I've spent a few minutes on this thing trying to get it as true as I could get it, but the steel itself isn't perfectly round. There's a little of a high spot. So I found the best spot it's going to be, and then what I'll do is I'll just turn it down so that I can slide it inside this. And then, yeah, that'll be fine. I just got to true it up. All right. Now that I got that machine to the right diameter to slide inside of this, I have to make 4 notches. For whatever reason, when they built this, Lovejoy, these little pieces here have a little knob that sticks out, and it's not perfectly round in there to put this over. So I need to take that, put it on the end mill, notch out 4 slots, and then once I do that, make sure that this fits, and once this fits, then I got to cut the backside to fit this. This is for the Logan clutch. Get that figured out, drill some holes in this, tap them, and then I should be done with that piece, and then move on to the next one. So let's take this piece here off, go over there to the end mill, and machine it, because that is the next step. You guys ready? Let's see if I got this machined the way I want it to be. Oh, that's sweet. That fit perfectly on it. Like, perfect. You guys want to see that? Now that is what I wanted. The next step I got to do is obviously drill holes into each one of these and then tap inside here for threads, and then I got to go on the back side and cut that. But that is money. I mean, you want to talk about being happy. I'm pretty happy with that, how it turned out. So anyways, I think I'm going to keep machining on it. Alright, I think I finally got this. So here's how it's going to happen. You got the Logan clutch, which this bolts onto. Okay. Then, from there, you got this that bolts right onto here, so let's just go ahead and bolt it right now. So let's put this there. Okay. I don't have the bolt for that one. We'll get a bolt later. So anyways, this bolts together, so this is one unit. Then, we have this plate here, which will bolt this together, so this will be one unit, but it also bolts this to, see which way it goes, this way. That will be bolted here, okay? So let's just stack this, it's kind of confusing. Okay, done, 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 and done. There we go. Just got to bolt it all together, and it's ready to go. Oh, and paint. We forgot paint. Oh man, that thing looks beautiful. Love it. I think it turned out really, really well. That should help create less chatter and less problems down the road. At least that's my understanding, and I think it's worth it. So Logan Clutch gave us this really cool looking sticky paste, like almost like a grease, and we put those on the splines right here. This is going to go into the Logan Clutch, and there's nothing to lubricate those splines, so this stuff here is supposed to help keep the lubrication on those splines from wearing out. Obviously, we're not going to have a problem with it because this setup here with the PTO, it's only going to be in spurts. It's not going to be like high demand 24/7. So we'll never have a problem with those splines wearing out. But anyways, I got to put this on and then we can crawl up there and then, so you need to get those bolts in the top of the Logan Clutch, see what wrench I need. And then we can bolt that up. And the next thing is I got to cut that drive shaft down a little bit and then I got to get it in phase so that the universal joints are lined up correctly. And yeah, there's still a few things to do. Oh yeah, that's greasy. Sticky, I love it. All right, it's got a little bit of weight to it, not too bad. Yeah, my foot's slipping. There we go. I can't get it in. I just gotta find that sweet spot. There we go. Oh yeah. Now we're talking. Oh yeah. That's what I wanted. All right, now underneath here, basically what I gotta do is I gotta cut the tube down. Probably I'll get a tape measure in a little bit, but I'm guessing maybe 2-3 inches. So that's the bolt hole that I need to go in there, obviously. So I'm guessing 2 to 3 inches to cut off of this tube. So I'll cut off a chunk, put this back on, or put this back on here, and then I got to get this yoke lined up with that yoke down there to make sure that they're in phase. And then that way we're good to go. And the nice thing about this Logan Clutch is it's got a soft start so that it won't just slam into that drive shaft. And it'll take its sweet time, and I mean, I shouldn't say sweet time, but it'll get up to speed and then lock in, and we shouldn't have any problems with that. Now that is air operated to engage it. We could have done hydraulic, but we decided to go with air since our tractor has air. So I got to find a spot to put all that air system that controls the Logan Clutch. Got to figure out where to put that underneath here, and then have from the air tank to this unit to supply to that unit, and then I have to have switches in the dash to control the Logan Clutch when to go on and off. So yeah, that's the plan. All right, let's get up, go find a tape measure, cut some tubes, go from there. All right, and it looks like it's in phase, which means universal joint yoke ends are the same. I'm ready to take this thing off and weld it all up. There we go. Oops.
Well, isn't that just pretty? That is nice. It's first, this is now our biggest rain since September. 4,400s where we're at right now. And it's still going strong. Could get another 1/10 or 2 out of this. We get a 1/2 inch. That'd be the biggest rain since September. We had 6/10 in September. Winter wheat's hurting, but the stuff that was on fallow will love this, and it'll still actually make a crop. A lot of the recrops just toast, but the spring crops, the peas are like this tall and flowering, not good. Maybe they'll grow a little more. The spring wheat though has a chance to keep growing though, so it's a blessing. It'll help those out, but for the sake of trees and grass and everything else out here, animals, and my pathetic lawn I'm trying to grow, this is gonna be nice, so awesome. Final tally for the rain. 0.9, well, 0.88 is what my house had. So about 8 to 9/10 of rain, that's awesome. That's the biggest rain in 12 months. And the ground is hardly showing it, which means it's soaked up, which is awesome. It was desperate, it needed it. So that's gonna be great. That's gonna definitely help things move along for the next few weeks. So you never know, you might get another 1/2 inch in 2 weeks, and all of a sudden some of your spring crops will be looking at, I don't know, maybe some averages. That'd be amazing. So let's see what happens, but praise the Lord. Love it.